one day I was just like mindlessly scrolling Pinterest, and one of the pictures got my full attention, and I decided to make my own version of this particular stays. These are 16th century stays, and let's make them. So I'm starting by cutting out my pattern pieces, and unfortunately I forgot to film the part when I'm making this pattern, but I just took the most basic bodice pattern and I transformed it into this kind of pattern, and there's plenty of tutorials on how to make it. Mine is not the best. It's not even tutorial, it's just how it went. And also I'm not using pins because this fabric has some silk in it and it's not really good with pins. When everything is cut already, I'm using my special pen with disappearing ink. When you apply temperature, it just disappears, and it's really, really good for tracing your bone channels. So basically you have to follow your pattern, and in this case there's a lot of bonding channels, and you have to specifically copy everything properly if you want it to look or just resemble a picture from the museum. And you know, while I was working on this type of stays, I did a little bit of research, and I found out that these stays are actually not typical for England. And just like a lot of other people, I thought these stays were like Elizabethan era stays and typical for that time and for a lot of different countries, but they were actually found in Germany and were more typical for that area. But you know, history is a weird science because there's little to no evidence like surviving stays of that time period. Maybe they were popular also in England, we just not sure because there's no evidence. Finally, after all of the previous steps, it's time to sew your first bonding channels on your 16th century stays. Now it's time for a little bit of magic. I already put a couple of seams for my starting bonding channels, and I don't need this pen anymore. I'm just getting rid of it by applying some temperature for my iron. And just like snow in spring, it disappears. Just look at that. Isn't it magical? I love it so much. And if just by accident you ironed a little bit too much and there's no markings left that you need to then sew on, you can just apply new marks. You can just draw it all again, but when the fabric is cool, because when it's still hot, it's not gonna work. Just once again. Yeah, I love it. No more silliness from that point. It's a serious work. Bonding channels are not a joke, because if you make them too small or too big, they're gonna end up looking not right. If you make them too small, you just won't be able to fit any bone in it. And if you make them too wide, they're gonna just like look a little bit messy and wobbly. Your bone's gonna be moving too much while you wear it. So be sure to make them right width to match your bones. Yeah. Okay, my stays are almost ready, and I told you I'm not gonna use pins because the fabric is too sensitive to them. Forget it. Sometimes you just have to use pins and nothing else works. It's sliding right off. It's too silky, it's too uncontrollable, and I had to do something, but I did it with really sharp pins. That helps a lot. When your pins are dull, it's not gonna be really nice for the fabric. And now when everything is pressed and sewn, I just need to put in bones. Look at these stays. They are already done, but I forgot to film how I added bias tape. However, I have another video that shows how to do it, so go watch this video. And after everything is done, you just have no other choice but go outside and videotape and photograph whatever you've made, because how else almighty internet will find out you actually do something with your life. Am I right? But there's a limit to me being serious, so enjoy me being silly next couple of seconds. And if you're still watching, here's a closer look at the red sides of these pair of stays. And of course, I gotta show you a couple of pictures from the photo shoot with the black side of the stays, because it's just as pretty. And I liked this particular shape so much that I've made another pair, just in another colors. And of course I took some pictures in it too. Anyway, thanks for watching, bye!